All right. You're going to give it up for Kona one more time. Please welcome to the stage, Kona Morris.
My son was about to turn 10, and I didn't want to let any more of his childhood go by without having a dog. For years, we had been living in this great rent-controlled house in Denver, but they wouldn't let us have a dog. I begged and begged. They refused, so I finally decided I had to give it up. But I came up with this great plan. While my son was visiting his dad up in Alaska, I was going to put all our stuff into storage, and then I would fly him down to California to meet me at my parents', and we would go on an epic road trip all over California, go camping in Big Sur, go to Legoland, hit the Grand Canyon on the way back, and when we got back to Denver, I would find a house that let us have a dog, and then I would go get my son a new puppy. So right before I left, my best friend and I went for a big hike with her brother. Afterwards, he had to stop at a pet store, and so we all went in, and I was just exhausted. So I see this empty seat in the dog corral, and I go and sit down. Like a second later, there's this little dog that just appears on my lap. And I'm like petting him. Where did you come from? He's white with some brown spots. He kind of looked like a Jack Russell, but with giant Yoda ears. And he had these little stubby Dotson legs that made it look like he was doing a plie. And so I'm sitting there petting him, and my friend walks up and says, "Well, that's your dog." And I'm like, no, I can't get a dog right now. I'm about to go on a road trip all summer. And she's like, well, clearly this is your dog. He knows it. I look at him, and he's looking at me with these big brown eyes, and I feel myself swooning. And then he jumps off, and there's so much white hair on my lap, it looks like he's still there. And I'm like, no, I cannot have an existence of just white hair. I wear way too much black for that. I didn't know what to do, but we had to go pick up my friend's daughter from school, so I asked them if I could have an hour to think about it. They said they'll try, but no guarantees because they couldn't deny him a home. So we go, and the whole time I'm just thinking about him, thinking about the fact that I left him there, looking at the pictures I took. And when she goes inside, I call them and say, okay, we're coming back. And she says, there's a lady here who wants to adopt him, so you better hurry. So we rush back, and I bring her daughter in to test him with kids, see how he is with kids. And he's perfect. He's so gentle. I remember we handed her the leash, and they're skipping through the aisles like it's a choreographed musical. And I'm like, I can't leave this dog again. So I adopt him, hair and all. And I find out that he had come from the streets of downtown Denver. And he had just had 30 days in the Denver pound and had been scheduled to be euthanized that morning. Yeah, so the organization went around to kill shelters, and they found any dog that seemed adoptable, and they gave him an extra week to give him a second chance at finding a home. So I take him back to my friend's house, but all of a sudden he stops bonding with me, and he's not responding at all to the name that they gave him, any of the names I was trying, and he just kept trying to escape. And I swear he was like this street dog tramp who had just used me to get off a death row. And I was freaking out. I had never adopted an adult dog before, and I'm thinking, this is a mistake. What have I done? What have I done? And so I'm trying every name I can think of. I'm like Homer and Sagan, and I get through all the literary references and philosophy references, and I get to musicians. So I try Bowie, and I try Mercury, and my friend's daughter says, how about Michael Jackson? So I go, come here, Jackson. And within a second, he is right in front of me, just full attention. And so I say, stay, Jackson. And I run to the other side of the yard, and he stays. And I say, here, Jackson. And he runs over to me. And I swear he gives me his undying loyalty for discovering his lost puppy name. And we're inseparable after that. He just stays with me, and his full name becomes Jackson Yoda McFly. And I give him to my son for his 10th birthday present, and he is just the best road trip buddy ever. And it turns out to be this amazing blessing to get to bond with him all summer and play with him on beaches. And that was 12 years ago. And he still has health problems, but he still plays, or he has health problems now, but he still plays like a puppy. And a few years after I adopted him, we went to this vet, and the tech found a missing microchip in his back fat. And the only thing it said was his birth date, which was November 23rd, 1999. It's true. Jackson is almost 25 years old, and I can't imagine what my life would have been like if he hadn't been given that second chance of life, and if I hadn't come back and let him ruin my perfect plan. Thank you.